Hey guys, so I had a recent interest on figuring out how to use a Raspberry Pi as an Airprint server. As you can see, I have it here. It's in a case. You can buy just the Raspberry Pi by itself, but it is recommended to get it in the case. This specific case I got from Amazon, and it does include the USB power adapter. So that's another thing that it does not come with the Raspberry Pi. And the other part is the actual micro SD card that holds the operating system. So that's definitely needed for installing the operating system. Now, I'm not going to go into detail about how to install the operating system because it's just an easy process that I'm pretty sure y'all can find in a YouTube video or on the website. Just going to Raspberry Pi's website and just downloading the OS installer that's going to basically install the OS for the Raspberry Pi operating system into an SD card. And you can do that in the Windows or a Mac. I did mine in a Mac and it works just as fine. And the way I do it is I have a travel router. So this is one that I recommend. It's the GLI net. There's variations of these in Amazon. I got this one just because it's got the VPN and all that, but it also allows to do the hotspot mode for either phones or modems, those little hotspot modems they have. Or you can do a network access where if you're at a venue and they allow you to have internet, they just connect to that. And this device, like I said, this is just so that I can put away into the photo booth, and it automatically connects to this. And then I have the printer hooked up to this. You can see it's got the USB ports on here. And then from the iPad, what will happen is the iPad's going to connect to this one. What I recommend is to do a hardwire, basically getting a short Ethernet cable from going into the LAN right into the actual Raspberry device, for the reason because of having that large file transfer. When you're printing off the iPad, it will be a much faster response to the printer. All right, so we'll start with the first step, which to make sure that to install the operating system onto here, into a micro SD card, and then we're gonna go ahead and insert that into the Raspberry Pi there. All right, so as you can see here, I have everything set up. I got internet going here just to make sure that we got some internet going, because you need that for sure. I got my mouse and keyboard already hooked up to the USB, and I also got the printer on. That needs to make sure that it's on. It's down here, so at the moment it's already ready to go to be accepted for printing. But right now I have the OS already installed. I installed a fresh OS, so this is my system here. I got my Mac going up here, but I'm gonna go ahead and screen record and show what happens and what programming you need to do. And like I mentioned before, there's so many tutorials on how to install the Raspberry Pi into an SD card using Windows or Mac. It's pretty easy, it's self-explanatory and all that. Just remember the username and password you set up the OS to. But with that being said, we can go ahead and start with this programming here to give you the commands. I'm also going to post the commands in the description area, just so you guys can see what's happening. But I'm going to go ahead and start my recording here so we get this all figured out and it's all put away. Okay, so next up, this is your screen for your Raspberry Pi. Like I said, we got internet going and we got everything going on. So the first thing you're gonna open is you're gonna open up a terminal window, which is that, and we're gonna do a lot of commands here. So the first command that is a given is to update all the systems. So sudo apt update. That's just gonna update everything in your system just to make sure you got everything up to date and all that figured out. So that's it. Simple, right? It's not like Windows where you have to wait hours. Next up, we're gonna go ahead and install the printing application that handles all the printing and all that. So it's called cups. It's that easy, just cups, right? So cups, boom, ready. We got that figured out. But cups doesn't have our driver for the specific printer that I'm using. So that's another part as well, is you got to find the specific printer that you have. I have the RXH or RX1HS, I believe, from DNP. It could vary, but again, it's just depending on your type of printer that you're using. And next, like I said, because this one doesn't come specifically with the printing drivers that we need to install an extended version of those drivers. So to do that, we're gonna have to install what's called gutenprint. It's basically just printing driver with the extra drivers we need for our DNP printer. So sudo apt-get, it's all needs to be together, apt-get with yes, install printer-driver-gutenprint. Here it is. So it's installing our printing drivers that we need for our specific printer. And it varies, like I said, it just depends on your printer, but this is the research I did for this type of printer. Okay, so that's set up, ready to go. Now, we want to make sure that I'm just reading my stuff, so give me one sec here. We're going to give administrative options just so that we make sure that this gives the whole system permission to print. So we're going to do sudo usermod a capital G lpadmin pi, enter. Oh, sorry. You know what? My username is called admin. So whatever username you set up in the beginning, that's what you're gonna have to remember. So there it is. Okay. And then we're gonna go ahead and give the other command to make sure that cups understands that anyone that's in the network can print. So that's giving the permissions to do that. And at the moment, we're gonna go ahead and restart the system. So you can either do it by going into, the menu here and log out and restart. It's mandatory, you have to do it, otherwise it's not gonna work. But I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and we'll be right back. All right, so we're back. We rebooted, and I wanted to point something out, that if you don't have access to Ethernet, you can also go through Wi-Fi as well. So these are my Wi-Fi networks. If you can do it that way as well, you don't necessarily have to have Ethernet like I do. I just have it accessible to me and my desk. But anyways, now we're gonna go ahead and find our IP address, which is just as simple as typing APA, and it's gonna take us to this screen. So we need to copy whatever device you're using. If you're using like wireless, it's gonna show like a address, IP address on here, but the one that I'm using, and I can recognize it, is this. Usually they start with like 192 or something like that. We're gonna go ahead and copy that, and we're gonna open up the browser. So once the browser opens up, we're gonna paste that in there, and then we're gonna do colon and port 631. So once we're in the 631, we can go ahead and install our printer driver. So from here, we're gonna go to administration, and we're gonna add a printer. So yeah, this will come up. And you see this, what happened? Usually it's normal, it's okay. It's just trying to get permission. So what you have to do is just proceed. And sometimes it might ask for your password. So go ahead and enter your username and password. Hit add printer, just like I mentioned here. And if you have issues doing this and whatnot, and it keeps going back to it, just close the browser and start over again until you get to this step where it says add printer. So we're gonna select the DNP DSRX1. So that's what's gonna, because I have it connected. So it recognizes the printer. So this is a good step. We know it recognizes it because it's recognizing the connection of it, but it doesn't have the driver installed, which we're gonna do next. And here, we're gonna type in photo booth, printer, photo booth, printer. Oh, actually, I take that back. This cannot contain spaces. No spaces. Just office, you don't necessarily have to do whatever. And then we're gonna share this printer. So once we share it, we're gonna hit continue. And it's gonna take us to the next step. All right. So now here, we need to find the driver. So the driver is from DNP Print, which is DNP, right? And these, if you don't see these, that means you didn't install the Gutenprint correctly. But in this case, we did. So if you didn't do that, you need to go back and re-enter the installation for that. But once we hit that, we're gonna hit continue, and then we're gonna find our printer here. So the one we're using is this one. So these are the other ones from DNP that it helps manage, and that's it. So we do that, and then we add the printer. Once it's there, we got it all figured out. So the media size, and I mean, we know it's 4x6, right? Resolutions, and you can go in here and just pretty much mess with it. So once you set defaults, right? Okay, so I kind of did that. But if we go and test the printer, so you see that automatically brought us to the actual printer. We have an actual, like, this is what they call an administration page. So we can do maintenance, so we can print the test page. Well, that's all we did. Just hit that icon there, and then you can see here in the printer, it's gonna print a test. So if we got in this far, then we're good, right? There it is. Yeah, I'm just gonna leave that there. Back to the computer. So we know that works and that it's acceptable, right? So now we got the driver installed, we got everything that we need for what's next, which now we have to install. This has to happen after. This is the Airprint application for the Raspberry Pi. So you can close this. If you want to go back into this administration page, just remember your IP address or go back to it. You can mess with, you know, colors or whatever, but usually this just works the way it does right now. So we got to go back to terminal, and we're going to go ahead and install the Airprint applications. We're going to sudo apt install avahi-daemon, and that's it. So it's installing now. Okay, so that's it. Sometimes it asks if you want to continue, just hit yes and enter. So all we have to do now is restart. So you can go sudo reboot, or like I said, go back to here, shut down, and then reboot. All right, so we're back. We rebooted and it's on. You can tell it's on by a, let me see, trying to adjust the brightness here. There we go. The light is on there. It's blinking like that. So like I mentioned, we got everything in the same network. I got it plugged into my router. I got the printer and all that hooked up. Now we're gonna go over to the iPad. So I got a couple here. We're gonna go ahead and open up the Lumabooth app here. Go to the event, go to the setting, and we're gonna do the print setup. So once we're here, like I said, we're hooked up to a whole different network. I have an outside router too, so we're gonna go ahead and change printer, if I can get it. There it is. So I have various routers around my house, so it's gonna pick it up either way. I select that photo booth, and then we go and launch the printer. As you can see, it picked it up right away, right? Remember that name? That was that specific name that we put on to name the device. But if we launch the event, and then we go ahead and find something to print. My daughter, she's here playing. I can't print this one. I have to print something else. So there it is. So there's that. We print just one, print one. All right, printing. There it is. Set the printing over to the printer. So as long as I'm on the same network with that Raspberry Pi and the iPad, there it is. So let me get it. There it is. Now I can show you on the other iPad as well. So here we're gonna, I can't remember if I have Lumabooth installed. Oh, I have the LumaShare. So it's even there on the LumaShare app. We go into this one, we'll connect to the iPad. There they are. And then we're gonna select random one, I believe there. Oh, sorry, you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to set up the print setup. It's connected to a different version of it. So we hit here, there it is. You can see the text there, so apologize if it's not clear, but there it comes up. We select it, we can print a test page, but we want to go back to the thing we want to print off the sharing iPad. Print. All right, sent the command, and it should print here pretty soon. There it is. Now it's printing. So there it is. Right now it's only a configuration where it can only print a full 4x6. It's I believe the settings, you can change it to do you know, the 2 strips and all that. But so that's it. If you guys have any questions, please reach out to me. Like I said, I'm gonna put this back into the where it goes, where it's sitting there. That's the part of the photo booth, and it's gonna, you know, just show or be automatically connected to the network, so I don't have to mess with it ever again, and connect it to the computer unless I need to do some changes. You can also remotely access it via network, but that just requires, you know, more installation and do all that, so you don't ever have to pull it out. But otherwise, that's it. If you guys have any questions, please reach out to me, leave a comment. If you have any issues, just let me know. It should be just as simple as installing those applications to be running all the time in the background, and that's it. All right guys, thanks for watching. We'll see ya.